Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the regional dialogue on innovative learning in Africa, this day of 9th November 2023. We need to talk about the young people in transforming education. Of course, education is for the young people, and therefore, when we involve them in their issues, I think it is very, very healthy. I wish to welcome all of you and really thank the Latin America and the Caribbean region for organizing this regional dialogue. And of course, ultimately UNESCO for greatly involving the young people. The youth are at the heart of UNESCO, and therefore, when we involve them in the dialogues and in everything that concerns them, it's very important. And I would wish to thank the panelists for availing themselves to participate in this meeting. I think we cannot take it easily. We are really grateful. We have the panelists on board from various regions and countries. And basically, we will look at the youth perspectives on innovative learning in the African region. We will discuss how innovative practices can streamline the process of transitioning from high school to higher education. Of course, in UNESCO, higher education refers to all the education and training after high school. So whether you go for a certificate, diploma, or degree, or PhD, or whatever, that is higher education. So we'll discuss that. We will exchange on how youth leaders have used innovation tools and techniques during their learning process. And we will discuss what existing practices in innovative learning shall be kept, improved, or changed for the future. We will explore what groundbreaking tools and techniques may be applied to learning in the future. We will contextualize and redefine innovation and innovative learning. So I want to believe the panelists here, you are going to prepare yourself to discuss on these issues. My name is Nancy Jerry, and I work for the Kenya National Commission for UNESCO, and I'm the National Aspirant Coordinator, and I humbly take that role. I'm grateful for the opportunity by ICWA to moderate this session. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a few general introduction and housekeeping rules. Please note the meeting will be recorded. If you are not a speaker, please keep your camera and microphone switched off. When you take the floor, you can turn both on. That is the camera and the microphone. Please be respectful of others, especially those who are speaking. Be aggressive and any aggressive and disrespectful behavior will not be tolerated. If you engage in any of these behaviors, please note you'll be silent or removed from the meeting. If you are under 18 years, please do not turn on the camera and just type your first name in the Zoom chat. If you have any questions, please feel free to type them in the chat, and our team will answer you. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me this opportunity to give it to Dr. Yao. Dr. Yao, please give us some. The floor is yours. Dr. Yao. Dr. Yao, please. Please take the floor, Dr. Yao.
Yeah. We're going to show a video of ICWA because Dr. Yao couldn't be with us today.
Great, that is quite in order. Thank you.
亲爱的 Aspirant 学生和青年朋友们， 您好，我是雨佳。首先，我代表联合国教科文组织联系学校网络国际中心，欢迎和感谢大家参与我中心与联合国教科文组织拉美及加勒比地区高等教育国际研究所共同举办的青年对话活动。教育是社会进步和个人成长的关键。在我们面临着全球性的挑战和机遇时，教育创新成为推动社会变革的引擎。正如联合国教科文组织的使命所言，教育不仅
Messenger, you can carry forward.
Sorry, participants. We lost Yuji in the last few seconds. But bottom line is that we must think creatively in this changing learning environment. Bottom line, and we must rethink how we approach education, because it's not just about acquiring knowledge, but education goes beyond formal education. So now I hope that Tio, you are going to share with us that recording so that we can follow. Though she was talking in Chinese, but the clip is translated into English. But I know I can say to you, dear Shishie, thank you. Yeah, so now round one of our discussion, and the floor is open for the panelists to take it up. So the first question we're asking ourselves, how would you define and describe the standard learning practices in your country and the region? Or what type of educational practices did you experience as a learner in formal education? So panelists, please take the floor. Kindly allow me to use the participants lists so that we'll be able to move. So panelist number one, I have Alex. Alex, please take the floor. You have 3 minutes or 2. I'll give each one of us like 2 minutes or so. Alex, please take the floor.
Sure, thank you very much.
Yes.
My name is Alex Magu. I'm the Executive Director of STEM Impact Center, Kenya, and we are an NGO that works to amplify young people through science, tech, and innovations. So on the question, how will I define and describe the standard learning practices in Kenya? I will start first to acknowledge that Kenya is currently undergoing a major curriculum and education structure change. And this is with the introduction of something we call the competence-based curriculum, which is a significant departure from the previous system, which we call the 844, which has been highly and heavily focused on academic and high-stake examinations and this is what we call the Kenya Certificate of Primary Education and Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education. So we're moving away from that, and the new design of the competence-based curriculum, it's designed to be a lot more student-centered and focused on developing of key competencies, including critical thinking, communication, collaboration, self-efficacy, learning to learn, are basically what we need for learners to succeed in the 21st century, and promoting social emotional learning. So the CBC introduces a structure whereby you spend 2 years in pre-primary, 6 years in primary education, 6 years in secondary, that's junior and senior, and 3 years in tertiary education. So that's the landscape and the scope of education in Kenya. And to the second question, considering the previous context, how would I define innovative learning, and which are more relevant to transforming education? And I will define innovative learning as a learning which has different approaches that focuses on student-centered learning, and it involves giving learners opportunities to engage in more learning, hands-on learning, and working in collaboration with other students, with other industries in the ecosystem, and to develop critical thinking and problem solving. So back to you, Nancy. So that's how I will define innovative learning. How can we promote the development of 21st century skills and give learners to be at the center of attention, rather than the tradition whereby the teacher is at the center of the classroom, and he or she is the one who is lecturing to the students. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Alex. Thank you very much. Let me give this opportunity to Patrick, next on the list of participants. Patrick, please take the floor. Patrick, please take the floor.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Alex. Alex, basically, I feel like you highlighted a structure that is very similar, the one that I experienced when I studied in Uganda. I'll talk a little bit primary, secondary, and then that's where I'll basically focus. Entirely, primary is where people start learning, but how they learn is, I'll be not as optimistic as Alex was saying. The system is quite antiquated. You'll find that mostly you spend a lot of time learning about things happening outside your local context. You spend so much time learning about the rest of the world, learning about Canada, Canadian players, learning about things like that, but like barely understood what was happening within our communities. And I find that a bit of an imbalance. So mostly the very starting point of learning is we are being taught about others, not about us. And I call that system sort of antiquated. Other bit is a bit dictatorial. We receive, as students, we go to class to receive. We're being told what we're supposed to know. And that robbed us of the right to fully think. On the flip side, though, the starting point gives us a lot of opportunities to sort of learn as many things as possible. So the very many things we learn in one or the other shape us into people that are multidisciplinary. They sort of shape and diversify our aspirations, because one day you're learning science, another day you're learning mathematics, another day you're learning biology, history, news, everything. You're basically learning, becoming a master of so many trades. And I would say you're learning something about everything, which is a thing that I would definitely treasure. But that aspect of it being locally centered and locally focused kind of misses out gravely. How I would define innovative learning, I would say one is massive, is experiential, and third is student-driven. By massive, I mean you allow the people to understand what's happening around them. We interact with the different learning materials ourselves without anybody guiding us. Then we go to class. Once we're in class, we have an experiential form where we sort of work together in groups and then perhaps have debates or sort of academic design games that sort of bring out the best of our intellectual abilities. And third, we don't need people dictating what we should learn. We're allowing ourselves as peers to guide our thinking. You can perhaps have a facilitator in class, but that facilitator does not have to be a master what we're doing. Be somebody who's got a lot of open knowledge and is willing to sort of ask enough questions to get us as young people thinking beyond our limits. That's what I would say on this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Thank you very much. Please let me invite Yara. Yara, please take the floor and share with us the experience in your country. How would you define and what are the more relevant features of transforming education? Yara?
Thank you, Nan. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Carry on.
Okay. So thank you, Nancy, so much, and thanks for my previous colleagues who were that I echo every single detail they are saying, because we all come from Africa, and we mostly have similar standard learning methods, whether through the teacher-centered approach, which is the teacher is like the guardian of the kid or of the student. He has the authority for your assessment, for your grades, also for the way of studying or of lecturing, which is memorizing or repetition, or how the exams are being run. So I come from Egypt, and I think Egypt, North Africa, and many African countries, as I just said, they are similar on many aspects, on the focusing on the academic subjects, on a curriculum that a student goes through. Um, um, there are changes over time. Yes, we can witness that. Yet, I'm not pessimistic, but I always like to put my hands on gaps, even if there is a change, because changes take time. And what we figure out is the student, since school, going to high school, there is a lost period, or a period that he doesn't know what he wants, how to identify his interest and his passion, what does he want to become, because everything he's enrolled in school is what decides which universities he will be enrolled in. So this is the system here, and this is how it's I believe that peer-to-peer learning and at some mentoring in school is very important. And I believe that not many schools do that. Many schools only focus on the extra hours or the private classes to for some commercial reasons, but they don't focus mainly on mentoring or mentorship program for the students. Some schools do that, some universities do that, which is they form a committee called mentorship or mentoring brothers and sisters that are already in their last year in school or college to mentor the younger ones. So this is number one. Number two, I believe it should be a student-centered approach more, which is what like open the space for the student to read and be responsive, not to listen more. You can give always the technical side, but he also needs to get outside of the box, especially that current generations, they have easy access to technology, and technology should be used in the right way. So I think it's important to teach them also how to use technology in the right way, not in the waste and losing time way. Also, it's important to look after the quality of education. We all know that there are different schools, private and public education. So I think that it should be equivalent and fair enough, so that you have equity in equality in your society. And the gender disparities, we need to make sure that there is the mainstreaming of gender well in the education. Plus, what my colleague was just saying, which is the curriculum now started to change by reflecting reality, teaching them the culture and the history, because there is a big problem in teaching others history than our own history. And what made me put more on the gaps and give solutions is we figured out that our education system should change since COVID-19, and that let's bear in mind that it now became like it used to be online, and now students started to go back to school, yet we could still use another type of learning through the online and cover up for others on remote areas and vulnerables and people in rural areas that cannot access technology and do proper research and learning like their peers in the city. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yara. Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing. Let's hear from Emmanuel. Emmanuel, please take the floor and share with us about the education experience in your country. Emmanuel, and what are the more relevant features?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
It's
Carry
okay.
on, please. Carry on, please.
Okay.
Carry on, Emmanuel.
But I'm not able to use my camera. My cam.
Don't worry, we can
I
hear you.
can. Okay,
Don't
I
worry,
can
we
speak.
can hear you. And we can see a photo on the screen of you. Thank you. Very
Okay. Okay. Hello. First of all, I want to thank you for this opportunity of speaking to talk about the education in my country. As you know, in Benin Republic, we have two levels of education: the primary school, the secondary school, and the university. And I think the best experience we have in Benin is to the is to I think is the uh sorry let me start again. So for education in Benin Republic, the best experience we have is specialization of students. When you have a good capacity to to learn, you can stay in general education. And now we notice that most of students which which have done the general education don't have the soft skills, or they are not really able to work after having their degree. So now the government work to promote the technical education, and uh, for students who do or who practice technical, students are more smart, more uh, more able to work in enterprise and administration and other place where their skills is are necessary. And I want to say that for me to improve the education experience in my country, I think it's necessary to introduce in our education system the time or yes, I think the time to allow to students to learn about um, citizen commitment, because we have lots of students which finish their secondary school, even university, but they are not able to do anything. They are not able to fight for their rights. They are not able to promote human rights, because when they were students, they was just focused on how they can do to success their study, how they can do to uh, do secondary and to go to university and have a job after they uh, studying time. I think for improving education system in Benin or in Africa, it's necessary to learn to students how they can do citizen commitment in their community, how they can fight for their rights when they they were students, how they can promote peace when they were students, and also when people students when they get job after university, it will be necessary it will be necessary to to sensibilize ent- um, the entrepreneur to allow their employee to have time to do social activity or to do citizen commitment activity. In that I want to share with you. And I want to make for you my apologies for all mistakes. I am more confident in French, but I'm trying to speak English. So thank you.
Wow, thank you very much, Emmanuel. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. We really appreciate the sharing about your country. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go to the next round of discussion. We would like to hear from our students. We would like to hear from our students. Now, I'm posing this discussion to our students. We have James, we have Hannah, and we have Marcia. Now, to Marcia, because Marcia, she is in secondary education. So Marcia, you consider that your secondary education experience gave you the necessary tools to succeed in higher education? If not, could you please signal the elements you feel need to be transformed to smooth the transition? Marcia, please take the floor and share with us your experience. Do you feel you are getting the necessary tools to succeed in your secondary education? Marcia?
Well, thank you, Madam Nancy. Yes,
Welcome.
I actually do believe that my high school education has given me the necessary tools to be able to have a brighter future and to be able to be outstanding and to be able to give back to my community, even though it's basically most of the time learning because of our national exams, but by the availability of extracurricular activities, I have been able to prosper and to better myself and able to gain different skills while I'm in school. Thank you.
What obstacles do you encounter And what do you think which skills are needed to overcome those obstacles? Do you think that there are some main obstacles you overcome? I mean, you encounter in your secondary education, and what do you think can be done to overcome those obstacles? Mercy?
First, joining high school was kind of rough, meeting different people and being able to like understand different people from different regions. That was quite a challenge for me. I would have seen that as an obstacle. But later on, as I got to realize like the people who are around me, I got to see that it's actually I got to gain and to learn a skill of how to live and to cope up with the people around me. And maybe let's say challenges like sometimes lack of water, as the population in schools are very, very high, because we don't have adequate high schools for mostly girls. Girls really tend to have a shortage on joining good high schools, but actually by giving the learning skills of how to like cope up and just how to survive, learning how to live with different people in different environments, learning to understand a person has actually benefited me and helped me very much to cope up with my environment around where I am. And the challenges which I face, I've actually been able to overcome by getting to know the people and getting to ask for assistance from different people around my area. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much, Marcia. You point out a very key pillar in education, learning to live together. Because you remember the record of UGA, learning is not just about acquiring knowledge. Yes, it's much more, and one of the pillars is learning to live together. So thank you for sharing. Let me hear from the college students. We have two college students, James and Hannah. Let's hear them, their experiences and the challenges and what they can propose that can be done to handle the challenges they face so that they prepare themselves well as competent teachers. James, please take the floor. James, share with
Hello.
us. Yes, please.
Hello.
James, we can hear you.
Oh, thank you so much. My name is James Kiradi Kagwema, and I am a teacher trainee at Muranga Teachers Training College. And by the grace of God, I'm the student leader in that institution. To start with, let me thank you for according me this opportunity. I would like to say this is a platform that I did not expect, but I thank my lecturer, Madam Lucy Kendi, for allowing me to participate in this noble participation. To start with, I've been through the 844 system, and truth be said, it has been a disappointing era because from primary school all the way to the secondary school, we have not received the enough support that we would like as we proceed to the next level. The reason why I'm saying this is because you find that most of the teachers will discourage us when we do not perform very well in various subjects. Like, for example, mathematics. In fact, when you come to Kenya, you come and find a saying that is saying in Kiswahili, mwalimu wa maths hapa ni wapi? Because those days teachers would discourage us very much. But considering now the new system that is in place about the CBC, I really feel that we are going to go far and we are going to prepare our children in a more positive manner. The reason why I'm saying this again, you realize that in CBC, we are not looking at who can get what is in the books so much, because I believe previously we were formed to just cram what is in the books. But now we realize we are training children with what they can do themselves. What is that is in the children that they feel that they can proceed with, rather than what is in the books. And therefore, I appreciate even the government of Kenya by implementing the system that is being used in most of our countries. When you go to a country like Singapore, when you go to a country like Britain, they are emulating this system. And therefore, we appreciate the government for bringing the system on board. And we, as the teacher trainees, we are now basing on things like core competencies. How can these children collaborate as they learn together? How can they learn to learn on themselves? We, the teachers, today we are calling ourselves as facilitators because you realize in 844 system, a teacher was like a dictator. You just stand in the front, dictate to us, and expect us to understand all what we are saying. But in the CBC system, we are giving an opportunity to each and every learner to learn on his own. And that's why let the learners investigate, let the learners question, and our work is only guiding them where they have a problem. We are also dealing on things like values, like love. How do you bring out peace among the learners? How do you bring out about happiness among the learners? And I believe with that system, even as they proceed to the next level, maybe to the university level, they are going to be molded in a way they are going to do what they feel they like, what they feel they are appreciated. And I think that is the very best discourse that we are heading in terms of education in our country. And with that, I thank you and I wish you a very good evening.
Wow. Thank you very much, James, for that sharing. Don't worry, I was also a member of an older system, which was felt like now we need the 844. So the older system came 844, now 844 goes into the new system. So we are grateful for every opportunity to learn, and we are in the era of lifelong learning. So I encourage you to keep on learning. Let's hear from Hannah.
Yeah.
Hannah, please share with us 3 minutes and 2 to 3 minutes. Hannah, please take the floor. Hannah, please take the floor. Is Hannah with us or she dropped off? Let me see on the list. Sorry. Hannah dropped off. Sorry, members. Sorry, participants. Hannah dropped off. All right. Up to there. Do we have any questions? Do we have any questions from participants? But before we go to that session, let's ask all of us now, including Alex, Manuel. Let's ask ourselves: how do you expect an innovative education to look and feel like? Okay, so I take the list on the participants again. Alex, how do you expect an innovative education to look and feel like? 1 to 2 minutes, please. Alex, take the floor and share with us. Alex.
Thank you. I'm right here.
Yes.
That's a good question. So how do you expect innovating learning to look like? I think from the drawbacks of my experience back in high school and primary schools, which was more teacher focused, and I think I can share with what I'm already doing to transform schools, communities, and learning centers through our organization. So the question is, how do you promote a student-centered learning, whereby the teacher is only but just a facilitator? I think that's the new expectation if I went back into high school, such that the teachers enables me to get to my potential, and we ain't just getting the knowledge from the teacher. So how can I use other methods like experiential learning? And we do that very effectively, especially with emerging technologies, practical activities that allows the students to carry out these activities. So and development of skills. Unfortunately, the young learner student from the tertiary school just said that he was very disappointed. I think I will say it's up to a magnitude of what we can do and how we able now to use local and available resources. We may not be able to bring world-class education to our learners, but how do you promote a learning practice whereby it promotes the use of local knowledge, resources, such that if a school is within a certain district, let me call Nairobi. In Nairobi, there are 5 or 10 public hospitals. So how can the hospitals be learning centers for learners to come and experience either different subjects, different activities? If it's in physics production, how can we use Kenya Power and Lighting Company to promote hands-on learning activities? So learning or innovative learning that brings on board different learning expectations and practices to enable each learner to fulfill their best and to gain skills that are not only going to be important today, but also in future, and also adopting things like emerging technologies, robotics, AI, virtual learning, virtual reality. So those are some of the ways I think I can say I will expect from an innovative or a transformative education system.
Wow, thank you very much, Alex. Let me have Emmanuel on the floor. Please share with us, Emmanuel, what do you think innovative education should look like? Emmanuel, please take the floor. Emmanuel.
I'm here. Yes.
Share
I
with us
think yeah.
on innovative education. What do you think it should look like?
I think that innovative education looks like using of digital solution to improve learning of students. I think that it it will be uh, better for every child, every young who is a student to know in this day how they can get opportunity on social media, how they can use internet, or they can use blog, they can use all social media to fight for their right. I think that also in Africa, mainly in Africa, innovative education be uh, should allow to students to get job when they will finish their learning or their program school. I think that innovative education should also be teaching of human rights to young people. I think we should prepare the next generation to be activists, to be human rights defender, to be also uh, digital, sorry for noise, to also be uh, digital rights activists. If we can do all these with success, I think education or school will be the better place for our children or us as young people or anybody in our to to society. I think today we have to teach to young people how they can use digital, by example, to solve the difficulty they have in their community. And also, uh, in Africa, it will be or it's necessary to adapt the education program to our needs. What are we need in our country? What are we need in our community? And when we will know that, we have to adapt the education program to these needs, and our country will be grow as a big country in world that we know. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much. Let's have Marcia share with us, please, about her thoughts about innovative learning. Marcia, please take the floor. What do you think innovative learning should look like? Marcia.
To me, innovative learning should be fun. Everything should be fun and educational, and should be able to impact each one of us with a different skill to learn. And if innovative learning was introduced to me earlier on, I think that I'd be very, very far, and I'd have a greater thinking and a greater way to approach my obstacles that may come through in my way. And I think innovative learning is one of the key goals that was introduced. It's one of the key goals that was introduced and has helped to better our education systems. As for us who have learned through the 844, as for the juniors who are undergoing the competency-based curriculum, they have been able to do things that we have been able to tackle on when we're in high school, and they are doing different ideas when they're as low as in grade 4 as in grade 6. And that has been all through the help of innovative ideas that have been changed in our government system of learning. And I think it has been able to better us and has been able to make us a better country and a better place. Thank you.
Thank you, Mercy. Thank you, Mercy, for sharing. And we have Patrick. Patrick, please take the floor and share with us. What are your thoughts and feelings about innovative education? Patrick? Patrick?
Yes. So basically, I would think of innovation in education. As Ali had already mentioned, there are three things that should be driving this. One, above all, is student-driven. I mean, students are able to sort of, take initiative of their own learning. But then we have an aspect of experiential learning. Experiential learning entails what happens in class. What happens in class, how is it formed? Is it somebody coming and talking at the students, or are the students actively involved and equally contributing to the ideas? Instead of having a teacher, you have somebody that doesn't talk at you, but rather talks with you, guides you, and shows you perhaps ways you can better approach certain aspects. Then the other bit that comes before experiential is some sort of immersion. Immersion entails what happens outside class. Outside class, you're interacting with what you're learning in class. And you may find a couple people doing internships with different organizations, or doing research, working with people that are facing a lot of challenges and trying to help them understand what they're going through, working with them to co-create solutions. That could be a way to sort of immerse. Depending on how a specific education system decides to arrange those, think those should be the key things that drive how young people learn. But with the introduction of with AI spreading, I understand we don't have so much of access to AI right now in Africa, but I think we should be at the very forefront of this. It should be proactive. We shouldn't wait for AI to happen to us and then start chasing it. We'll try to look into ways we can
Thank you,
use AI to enable our.
for sharing. Let me give the floor to Hannah. Please, Yara, share with us. Hannah is a teacher trainee at Aberdeen Teacher Training, Innovative Education. Hannah, please take the floor.
Hello, everyone. Sorry for the inconvenience.
What are your thoughts? Hello.
My thoughts are.
Carry on, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you, Madam Nancy. We are sorry for the inconveniences. On innovative learning, we as teacher trainees in Aberdeen, we take it as a very powerful tool for promoting innovation in higher education, whereby we promote collaboration, and which is one of our core competencies in learning, that we can go and promote it to the young children and the young learners in the primary. So we are able to communicate and collaborate, where learners are able to share more ideas. Everybody comes with his or her idea, which leads to higher innovation in education. Another point is that through higher education, we can use new technologies. We are able to create immersive and interactive learning through online, the use of digital technologies, that even the learners are able to acquire digital literacy when still at young age. On high innovative learning, we can also emphasize on hands-on experience, where learners are able to go and perform activities there outside. For instance, in the competency-based curriculum, there was an instant where learners went out cleaning the market, which we see it is a very high innovation, whereby they are even able to teach the people in the community on how to clean their places, how to clean their market. Yeah, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Hannah, for sharing. James, please take the floor and share with us what are your feelings and thoughts about innovative education? James, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much once again, Madam Nancy, for this opportunity. And I feel my colleagues have talked much about innovative learning, but I would also like to chip in and give my take about innovative learning. And I feel innovative learning is whereby you involve learners, just as Nancy, my colleague, have said from Aberdeen TTC. It is whereby you involve learners by improvising active learning strategies. Here you realize that you help learners discuss, you also help learners contribute, you help learners participate, and you also help learners investigate on the matters that are concerning the 21st century. You also realize that you help learners create and be problem solvers. Like, for example, Hannah have talked about cleaning the market. This is a challenge that you can pose to learners and lead them to think, discuss, and create strategies of cleaning the market. For example, one of our friends who was a co-host talked about leaving learners to think how they can clean the market without using things from the shop. What I mean is, tell the learners, I need this place to be cleaned. How are they going to come up with an idea of getting the brooms that are man-made? This is what we call even innovative learning. Point number two, it helps the learners get the challenges. and they are also able to answer the questions by thinking how they are going to solve the problems. And as I had said before, innovative learning will also help learners become key inquiry-based learners. This is whereby they ask questions: why are certain things happening? How can we solve a certain problem? And as one said, that innovative learning should also be fun. It should not be people being held up in class and they are just there without interacting, without involving themselves, without engaging themselves. It should be fun. Learners should discuss. In fact, in one of the suggested learning experiences that we are taught in the TTC, we are told that learners should take things like nature walk. Let them explore, let them think about, let them see, let them touch, so that they can be able to develop skills of thinking, problem solving, critical thinking, and also being great as they proceed. Thank you so much for your time, Madam Nancy.
Oh, thank you very much, James, for sharing. Let's give this a chance to, on the list is Yara. Yara, please share with us, what are your feelings about innovative education? Yara?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Madam Moderator, and thanks everybody. I really like what everybody discussed. Let me shed more the light on what is innovation. First of all, is it only innovation in the curriculum, or is it innovation in the tools and the way of teaching? Because we are focusing on the children, or on the students and the curriculum, but we need innovative teachers, because in most of our countries, teachers. I think I was muted, but anyways, I'm back now. So I think that teachers themselves need to learn new methods, because they are, how can I say it? I always call teachers, they are the big students, because they learn also from the students on many matters. And our teachers have been in the system for years. So sometimes when you are at your work, even for 5 years, I'm not talking about 25 years and 30 years, you sometimes don't change. So teachers need to change to more innovative methods. Like our colleague said, more challenging brains, challenge them on crisis. When I was in Japan, I really liked how they teach young people, and they're still in preparatory school, not even in secondary school, how to overcome crises, and how to think of climate change, and how to think of problems that are in the society, whether natural disasters or man-made disasters, and how to overcome that. This is one thing. The second thing is the information and the type of information that are given to the students. It should be suitable for their brains, which is I can't teach students something in secondary and then go to preparatory and change everything they have been learning. They should like it should be aligned with also the resources that are there, because if we're talking about tech education or technology in general, we should make sure that it's accessible to them. Like, for example, we can use a projector in schools, but this projector could be a less effective method than rather than a teacher writing and showing a writing style, because as we all know that sometimes technology is good, but sometimes the old methods are better. It's not because technology is there then it's better than writing on a board or writing and showing the kids how to write. We now see many kids don't know how to write, but they know how to listen. Also, bridging programs is very important. This is part of the innovation, that you give some spices to the subjects that can open the horizon of the child and make him go, or of the student, even in college, and let him go and or her go and think about it. The last thing I want to share about innovation is how will we deliver this innovation? So we should be thinking of the infrastructure, the resources. If I don't have proper infrastructure, internet capacities, good resources, I will not be able to deliver these innovative methods by any means. Thank you.
you, Yara. Thank you, Yara, for that sharing, even your experience in Japan. And actually, that is what informed the change to our curriculum system in Kenya, because we noted we could not continue teaching our children the same way like us we were taught, because the current situation and where we are going in the future is very, very different from where we have come from. So that is why we have this conversation. What do we think about innovative learning? And I think the conversation is very, very healthy. Now, is there any question or something that somebody might have felt we should have mentioned before we go to the next round of discussion? Any question or something, somebody, the panelists, it's an open chance now. If somebody feels you have something you need to share on the issues we have discussed. Yes, we have discussed about innovative education just now. We have listened to our students on their experiences and obstacles and skills needed. We have listened to all of us about the, education practices in our countries. So is there someone who feels there's something you need to ask or share or shed more light on? The floor is open. I can see Hannah. Hannah, your mic is on. Please take the floor.
A question
And share with us. Yes.
on the innovation learning. We also need to think about the learners who have difficulties in learning, such as we have the learners with cerebral palsy, learners with ADHD, learners who are physically challenged. So my question is, how will we be able to promote them to even a higher level than the learners who are average learners?
Sure. That's a very valid concern. Let's hear Yara. Yara, please, your hand is up. Please take the floor, Yara. And Patrick, prepare to respond to the concern Hannah. Please prepare to respond to the concern of Hannah on the learners with the challenges. Yes, Yara.
Yeah, thank you. I think I was going to highlight some pickup lines. I'm not sure also if this responds to Hannah at the same time. So I would love that throughout this session that we hear best practices of how to deliver the best education, how to have the influential partnerships, and how to achieve an inclusive approach. Because yes, we have a problem in our countries, even if the system changed to better. We have the disabled groups, we have groups of people that they cannot access technology, we have problem with some generations that were affected by the COVID time and previously, and especially countries that are still suffering from wars or conflicts. There are ages or years that were skipped from their lives. So how to integrate them again into the education system without being left out. So I think that perhaps I would like to like all of us reflect on best, even if it's one example of a best practice of how good influential partnerships, a public-private partnership, government, UN partner, whatever it is, can increase or make it better for an inclusive approach, and not necessarily through the formal education. And let's also include some people who are very important, the informal education, because I don't know if this is a role of Africa, but in North Africa, at least, or in my country, they are trying to change the narrative and deliver that informal education people are not less than the formal ones. It doesn't mean that you have informal education that or TVET, or your education is whatever style it is, that you are less in hierarchy, or you are less educated than others that have been to schools, whether private or public. So these are the pickup lines, and I hear you, Hannah. I think one good example in my country that they had a big campaign by the government and by the private sector to reach out to disabled groups in rural areas because they are the most difficult. It's not only reaching out to people in rural areas, no, even the disabled ones. So what they did in that campaign is they provided I don't know how to say it in English, but you know, the tools for them to hear and the braille technology and all of that, they provided it through the NGOs or local communities that are in these rural areas because we're not gonna let them come travel to or talk to them about policies. We need, you know, real implementation. So the thing is that the local communities in specific, they targeted like pilot in 10 governorates, in whatever number of governorates, to reach out to the local communities and ask them how many are there in your community that are in need for special education, and please bring them, let them register, and let us make their lives better. And this could be, you know, replicated as a pilot and given the other examples of the vulnerability or the case. So I think it starts from the grassroots that needs more focus. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you very much, Yara, for that sharing. In fact, like us, we don't even have the captions, you know, the captions that runs here. Although those ones are very tricky. Captions, they pick funny words. Probably when they caption here, they might pick funny words, and someone who is not hearing may pick they may pick the wrong thing. But maybe next time we will remember to have someone to sign, you know, the way they do, so that even the deaf or of course at least the blind they can hear, but the deaf, you know, that's something equal we should consider. Wow, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I think the discussion is very ripe. We are in the era of innovative learning and transforming education. In fact, it was a whole summit in New York last year talking about transforming education and innovative learning. It's a discussion we should continue with the conversation so that finally we get there and be able to do the necessary interventions. May I request Alex, please, in 2 minutes, please give us a summary of what we have discussed. You know, what are the takeaways and what would you propose as the way forward? Alex, please take the floor. Alex, you are muted.
Yes, could you kindly repeat the question? I was slightly distracted. My apologies.
Sorry, I understand. I'm saying you give us in a nutshell a summary of what we have discussed, and you would even propose the way forward.
Okay. I think we've discussed what it takes to have transformed education in our countries. And based on our previous experiences, which most of us share, it's how do we make sure that the children who are currently in the same system or joining do not go through the same experiences. How can we enrich our education to ensure when they graduate, they'll be saying nice things about what they have learned in schools, about our teachers, about the skills they've gained and their potential. So it's very evident that the current system is not working. The old brick and mortar no longer works in the 21st century. It will not work in future, and it will not work elsewhere. So the question is to us as young people, what can we do to promote or to enhance transformative education in our own capacity, in our own organizations? And we as young people, I think we're obligated to ensure that, because we're the ones who are in touch with technology. I bet a teacher who's 50, 40 years is in touch with technology as much as we are. So it's us to take the initiatives to ensure that we mentor our young boys and girls. We close the gaps, especially in terms of gender, in terms of changing teachers' attitudes, for them to adopt new, transformative, and innovative classroom practices. So we all want the best for our children, and we can only wish them the best. And I think listening to Yara, what they're doing in Egypt and her experiences in Japan, we have what it takes as young people, and it's our time to take up the baton and lead by example. I'll be happy probably to showcase what we've done or what we're doing, because we are working with the Ministry of Education in Kenya, and we've been introducing creative coding and robotics programs. We've worked with the National Commission for UNESCO and UNESCO programs for young women and girls. So it's how can we scale that now? So the model works. So how can it be transformed to Benin, to Rwanda, to Egypt, to all over Africa and the rest of the world? So it's us as young people to come up now with the innovative practices to lead to innovative learning and education in our countries. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alex, for that sharing. You remember the students said we need to make learning enjoyable.
Yeah.
And I'm a witness of the session we had with the girls at Kajiado and Mombasa. You should have seen the excitement of the students and the excitement of the teachers, you know, such that learning becomes enjoyable, learning becomes experiential. It is no longer the same way, and that's why we have the teacher trainees here, Anna and James. It is no longer the same. You go and tell the students what is geography, they can Google. Or what is history or physics, they can Google. It's about, you know, the students grasping the concepts of some of these subjects we have in our learning institutions. Let me hear from Emmanuel. Emmanuel, please, some take from the discussion and way forward. Please take the floor. Emmanuel. Emmanuel.
Yeah, yes, I'm there. Please, can you say again?
Sorry, Emmanuel, we are taking a round of sharing. What's our take, and what do we propose as the way forward from here?
For me, I think is I will start my okay. I think it's okay now. For me, first, I really appreciate this initiative, and I think that it's very important for every young to know their own their own story, their own culture. I think if we know our story, we will be more able to to act for a just society, to act, to participate, uh, to for sustainable development of our country. So I believe that the education is the most important thing we have to build a better human, a better man, and a better woman. And for this reason, I suggest again to use innovative ways like digital solution to improve education in Africa. I also suggest to teach to every student to teach them how they can make a good citizen commitment to help growing of their community. I also that it will be good to learn or to teach to every young people how they can use social media to share a positive story on Africa, a positive story on children of Africa, young people of Africa, and it will be really better if every young can know how uh, he can use technological solution to find solution of education them will not only give just a people who just want to get a job or who just want to be employed in society or enterprise, but will build a big man like Nelson Mandela, who 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 is more human, who not look only for profit, but look for find social equality. And to do summarize, I think it will be really to transform education positively. It will be better to help every young people, every student to commit for helping their community to to grow uh, uh, to be there. Thank you.
Oh, merci beaucoup, merci beaucoup, merci beaucoup, Emmanuel. But one thing we would like to appreciate is the organizer for bringing Africa together. I think we should have more of this and have a discussion, a candid discussion, and harness our abilities from north to the south, to the east, to the west, to the central. I think we have a lot of potential and there's a lot we can learn from. But as I was listening to ourselves, I'm asking myself, is innovative learning just about technology, Alex? I don't know. That could be just one arm of innovation, because I'm imagining we could also bring teachers from north, from south, from east, from west, from central to to have an exchange program in teaching us about that. So I'm juggling my mind and just asking myself, is it innovative learning? Does it just mean technology? Alex, we can have a conversation later, and even Emmanuel, because Benin has some very good aspects about that, and Yara with the experience in Japan. Is it about just using technology when we talk of innovation? That's food for thought for another time. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we have come to the end of this panel discussion. I think you see there is a lot. And what I've realized is that many solutions come from these kinds of conversations that we have. And people come up with, when we joke our minds, we come together and reason together, you know, with the consumers, that is our students who are here with us, with ourselves, with policymakers, implementers. We're able to come up with solutions which can be implemented and, of course, accepted by everyone. Let me take this opportunity once again to thank all of us for participating. Thank you, UNESCO ICWA, UNESCO IESLC, Latin America and Caribbean. We really appreciate that you have brought us together. I think on the way forward, I wish we can have these kind of conversations more oftenly, and of course come together and discuss and reason together. So let me take this opportunity to thank everyone again. Let me post the links which you can follow. Please pick them very quickly from the chat. I've posted them. Links which we can tap on. They had been shared. We can tap on those links and still learn more. Like our students who are on holiday, keep yourself busy. Us who are still on long life learning, we keep ourselves busy by clicking on these links and learning and understanding of the information given there. So we bring this panel discussion to a halt until another time, we hope soonest. And I believe UNESCO IES FLC, they are going to share with us any other material that is required. Most of us were co-hosts, so I'm sure you are recording and you'll be able to listen again on the recording. Thank you very much, and I wish all of us the very best. Thank you.